Now, the first thing you're going to see when you go to MCO455, whether it's a lab or a theory section, is a part that says ordering parts for MCO455. When you open up this page, you're going to see MCO455 ESP parts list for summer of 2026. And it's a list of items and suppliers that you're going to need to order this equipment. Now, as it says here, you only need one of each of these items listed below. First two are from Amazon, and actually you need these two right at the start of your course. So let's take a look at the very first item here by clicking on this link. When you get to this page, you can click to see full view. This is what's going to arrive on your doorstep here, which is your starter kit. Inside the starter kit, you're going to have the ESP32, a GPIO extender here where you're going to connect all the devices that you're going to connect up during the semester. These devices that are typically here, you're not going to be using for the semester, so you can take them and put them back in the box here. Now, it does have a detail of all the different parts that come in the kit, and you should check to make sure you got the number of parts that it mentions and make sure all these parts are in your kit when you receive it. Now, beside having the Rover starter kit, you also need to have either an SSD or you can buy a memory stick here, but it has to have at least 32 gig because what we're putting on it is something called a virtual machine that we're going to need in the lab. So when you click on this, it shows you a number of different USB-C connectors here. This is a USB-A, and you have to have something that is USB-C to fit into the computer in the lab because otherwise it's going to be 4 times slower if you use this. All these different devices here are possibilities, but what you're going to find is the more you spend on one of these devices, the faster it's typically going to be. Let's take a look at the MCO455 course addendum. Inside here, it's going to show you when things are going to happen week by week. Now, at the end of the second week, you should have all the stuff from Amazon because you're going to need it at that point. As it says here, installing and using your VM, that's when you're going to have the kit itself and also your memory stick. Now, the other kit from DigiKey, you're going to have that by May the 25th, the latest, because we're going to be using the RGB LEDs and IR LEDs and so forth put in here. So the other kit should be ordered pretty much right after the Amazon kit. Now, the sooner you order the two kits, both the Amazon and the DigiKey kits, the better, because otherwise you will end up not being able to do well on the labs. Now, there's certain things that you may not need. For instance, this item here, which is part of the DigiKey kit, cheap TV remote. So if you happen to have a TV remote, VCR, Blu-ray remote, anything of that nature, then you don't need this. And if you did want to get this, you can see right now there's 0 in stock. And if you want to check the lead time, you can click here, and it said there's going to be some available on April the 20th, which is now April 18th, so in 2 days. But if you really want to see for real what's going on, you can put in, say, 500 and hit update. If you do, then you can see that by the 20th of April here, we're going to have 75. By the 14th of July, we're going to have another 81, and we're going to have 344 in by October of this year, which is pretty late. So again, if you don't need it and you have one, it's best to actually just use the one that you've got and just bring it in. Now, the next item on our list is the ESP-PROG-2. What that is a device that's used with the ESP32 itself to actually do debugging of your code, setting breakpoints, and so forth. Right now, it says there's 0 in stock at this time, and if we put in 1 here, it's going to say that it's going to be this amount of money, but again, you want to check the lead time. So let's put in, instead of 1, it says there's going to be at least 1 on June the 6th. What would happen if we put in 500 here and say update? Seems that there's going to be a whole bunch coming in by June the 1st. Now, the ESP-PROG-2 requires male to female jumper wires, and it also requires a male USB-C to male USB-C connector. And at the time of this video, there's over 1,000 of this and over 1,000 of this, so we should be okay with that. But the other devices here, the IR receiver and temperature sensor and so on, have to be available fairly soon. So let's take a look at the orders for those. Now, at the making of this video, there's over 10,000 of these, so I think we're okay. But every time before you do an order, depending on when it is, make sure you check to see how many are there and when they're going to be reordered. Now, the next item is the Grove temperature humidity sensor, and there's 2 versions of this, both sold at DigiKey. There's the older DHT11, which is going to be phased out, and there's a new DHT20, both available from DigiKey. So let's click on this one first. And if we take a look here, it says there's 116 in stock at this point in time, but there's not going to be a lot left. So we go here, and again, if we put in 500 and say update, we're going to see that there's maybe 116 available immediately, but they're only going to bring in 384 by Christmas of this year, which is way too late. Let's go back and take a look at the other one. Right now, there's only 58 in stock. Oh boy. But if we go here and put in a number like 500 again and say update, we're going to have by June the 3rd, we're going to have 387 and another 55 coming in July. So that's probably enough as long as you order right away. Do not leave the order too late, or you may end up not having stock and not being able to do labs. Now, the next item on our list is the Grove RGB LCD backlit display. And currently there's 855, so there should not be an issue with this. Let's take a look at the Grove PIR motion detector where there is going to be an issue, at least at this point in time. You can see right now there's 117 available. But again, let's check for additional, and let's put in 500 here and say update. And you can see that there's 117 now, 99 by May the 26th. But after that, there's not going to be any until January of next year. So please get these orders in as soon as you can. So these kinds of things, such as the passive infrared motion detector, are going to be able to be acquired by you. The last item here is the Grove 4-digit display. And right now they have 0 in stock. But again, let's check here, check lead time. Let's say we want to have 500. And let's just do an update. And you can see that there's going to be 2 orders, one on May the 20th and one on May the 26th, which is going to give us lots of these. But the critical item in all of these right now is the passive infrared. So again, order your stuff as soon as you can, because if you leave it too late, you're not going to be able to get the hardware that you require, and you may have to go to another supplier and pay extra shipping. Now, all you have to do for DigiKey is you just go to DigiKey here. If you want to do the order, add to cart, and let's just say we want one of these, add to cart. And then you can continue shopping, and you can go to, say, the ESP Prague. And even though there's 0 in quantity right now, you can say get one here, add to cart. And it'll probably allow you to do a back order here, that it will send it after it's available.